Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making millions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, a safe and sacred place to be vulnerable, to be transparent, to be authentic. I am your host, Tisha Michelle. From the deep pain and loss of my best friend Gloria, I realized she gave me the greatest gift ever, remembering my purpose in life, which is to help connect you to your authentic self, guide you to remember your purpose, and remind you that your current circumstance doesn't define who you are. Join me as we heal, align, and glow together. Hey guys, welcome back to Seeing with Your Soul. I'm your host, Tisha Michelle. So I am just getting back from New York. So if you listened to last week's episode, you would have known that November 8th was my best friend's birthday. My best friend who passed away December 29th, 2017. So, her name is Gloria and she goes by Glow. So her family started Glow Day. So this was the second Glow Day event in New York, and it was super, super special. The first one I didn't get to go because I was in Egypt at that time. So I was very, excited and happy to be at this one, to, see family and friends and just, remember her like the proper way. She loved to party and just like turn up. So that was great. But it went even deeper than that. So like I said, November 8th is her birthday and she goes by Glow, and New York State recognizes November 8th as Glow Day. Pretty dope, right? So, they also had a bench, put at the park there, in memory of her. And then in the spring, they're going to be planting a tree. So, you could have like the shade and just, sit out and just be one with nature, sit on the bench and just think and just, reflect and all of that good stuff. So it was super amazing. But to go even further, her sister Aaliyah, shout out to Aaliyah, she had been working behind the scenes on Glow Care Inc. And basically what this foundation is to help bridge the gap, when it comes to postpartum for like moms and like for, like the children, and, to help provide like resources and stuff. So she could definitely explain it way better. But bottom line is like after a mom has a, like a child, like we tend to really like forget about the mom. So if you also listen to like that episode, you would have heard me talk about how like we, checking on each other, checking on our friends and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that I can say that, with Gloria, when she had her twins, it was all about the twins. It was all about the kids. It was all about her nursing her babies, where doctors they said babies weren't going to make it and she shouldn't have the kids and all that. But she was like, nah, I'm gonna nurse these babies. And she put her everything into it. I would even call her and talk to her and I'd be like, how's the babies? How are they doing? What did they say at the doctor and all that? But I never asked her, what about her? When was the last time you went to the doctor? Are you taking your medicine? Because we just automatically just assume that, oh, you're an adult, like you should know what you need to do. You do what you got to do. But that's not the case, especially as a mom, and I'm a mom of 4. We put so much into our children and everybody else. We're the nurturer that we forget about ourselves. We forget about ourselves and we don't take care of ourselves. We don't do it intentionally. It's just that once we give to so many other people and so many things, there's really not much left to give to us. You know, with her sister forming like that foundation, and it's in a partnership with like New York, and I can tell you guys right now, you will hear me follow up talking about Glow Day is a global thing, you know, because it's so big. And yes, she goes by Glow, but Glow means grieving loved ones, because we're all grieving loved ones. We all have grieved loved ones, right? So I wanted to just come on here, you know, today to really talk about like, you know, something that really just sparked from Glow Day and from being in New York and just all these different like honors and stuff. It's like, what legacy do you want to leave? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for? What if you have children? What do you want to leave for your children? And when I say leave for your children, I don't mean just like, oh yeah, I'm going to make sure that they're good, they got this money, you know, and I'm giving them a life insurance policy, and all that is great because we need that. But like really, like, what do you want to leave behind? Where do you want them to pick up, you know, behind from you? So see, the Horsefords, which is, you know, my best friend's like family, that's her last name, you know, especially like Aaliyah, you know, older brother Rob, they're pillars of their community. They do a lot of stuff for their community. They're very active in their community. You know, she said when she was going to put in for the bench, they told her that it was going to take 4 months. We can't do that. Glow Day's right around the corner, right? 4 months. But, you know, from like the respect that and the alignments that she has with the officials and stuff in the community, like they all came together and just like did what they had to do, and they were able to do it in 2 weeks. Like, how amazing is that? And like, we're super blessed. So shout out to all of them for playing their part. You know, they're in the community. They, you know, vote. You know, it's more than just voting on like, you know, for president, but it's like voting in your local, for your local. Like they give back. They're out there. They're using their voices and stuff. So it's like, you know, my other question for you is like, are you a pillar in your community? What are you doing for your community or communities? Doesn't have to just mean just your community, but just being out there. So the famous question for me that really sparked this self-discovery journey once I lost Gloria was, there has to be more to life than this. And there is. You know, how are we giving back? Like, what are we doing for other people? Where are we using our voice? Like, where are we using our voice to speak up, speak out, speak our truth, you know, to help bridge gaps in any area that you see, you know, that is lacking? Like, what if you really step into your community or just the people that are around you and stuff? Like, where do you see that there is a little lack? There is a little disconnect. How is it that you can help, you know, someone? I was having a conversation with someone a couple of weeks ago, and she made this comment, and she just made this comment, and it really like just like stunned me. I guess that's the best word. And she said, I mean, I don't really care about that. She's like, I've been struggling my whole life, so what's this added to it? And it was like, wow, that is the mentality of a lot of people, you know. And it was no shade to her, but it's her truth. She's been struggling her whole life. So what's one more thing that's added to there? Okay, she got past those things, so she'll just get past that. And it just really makes me just think about our communities and stuff, and like, where is it that we can help? Where can we use our expertise? Where can we share our knowledge and our wisdom, you know, that of things that we've learned along the way? Like, where can we give that back to, you know, just people into our community? You know, are you getting out there and voting on a local level for where it really truly matters, and you could really make changes and stuff, you know, things that you don't like to see in your community? You know, what message are you putting out to people? What do you want people to remember you by? What do you want your children to continue, you know, with the work and the stuff that you've done? And I just feel like, you know, we all are in this together. Whether you guys realize it or not, we're all connected. Every single thing that each and every one of us does affects someone else, and we can follow it all the way through. But I mean, we do. It made me step back and say, what type of legacy am I leaving behind right now? First off, when I think about my current state, what am I leaving behind? And it's like, what do I want to leave behind? How do I want to shift things? How do I want to continue to impact my family as well as other people's families? Like, what do I want to do? Like, how do I want to do this? What do I want to be known for? And when I say what do I want to be known for, it's not for like glitz and the fame. It's just to be like, wow, I want to continue with what she did. I want to continue to play my part to help other people, to help build people up, to build these communities up. Like, what is it? You know, for me, I want to stop the generational cycles. Like, it stops with me. So reflect on your life. Have you been a part of the, you know, they say generational curses. I say generational cycles because these cycles keep going and going and going and going, right? So really think back to like the mentality and the stuff that you've heard and things that's just been, you've been conditioned and stuff. Like, are you ready to change that cycle? Is that what you're going to be able to be known for? And within your family is like the cycle, the curses, whatever you call it, is stopped with you. You know, it's like really time to really, really, truly like reflect and like, what are we being known for? Like, what are we doing that's meaningful? And again, I mean, we all have free will, so we can do whatever it is that we want, and we don't have to do anything. We can just exist, you know. But I've seen the beauty in so many things. It's like these past almost 2 years on this self, discovery journey. And it's been amazing how much beauty there is in everything, in every single thing. And I want all of you guys to just open your eyes and really look to your left, look to your right, look in front of you. Just really look all around, like look at your environment, look at what it is that you are creating. Because remember, we co-create our reality alongside the universe. We co-create our reality alongside the universe. So what are you creating? What are you putting out there? And do you want to do more? Do you want to do more? And it's kind of just like sucks that when like, you're grieving, like you lose someone or something like, a tragedy or traumatic happens. And then it makes you just like open your eyes to be like, oh, wow, this is a big deal. Oh, wow, I didn't know this. And we can't stop that, right? But I believe that if we all just like really research and look within like our communities and stuff and see where, there needs to be a gap, a bridge, to fill these gaps and to make resources available or put information out. So see, this is the thing. When Gloria passed and she had, heart problems and she wasn't sick, at the time. So it was very like sudden and just like out of the blue, like what the hell just happened. And again, going back to it, like we're all checking on like these babies, who were these babies, and she like nursed them and like, and everybody prayed and all that, that stuff to get them to these healthy kids. And we weren't really checking on the mom, and then with all of that happening is when her sister found out that that's like an epidemic in New York. It's a big deal. And we're like, wait, what? Well, where's these resources? Why is that a problem? Like, why is that a problem? And, we didn't know that. We're not aware. Why weren't we aware of this? And why aren't we aware of so many other things? Because there is so many things that get like national, like televised, and will say like, oh, we need help and this and that, but it's not everything else. So I feel like on a local level, it's up to us to get out in our communities and see where are we falling short at? Where do we, need assistance at? Where can we shine some more light so that way it can get the attention? And you know what? The attention could be still on a local level, and we can all come through and help and just say, oh, wow, you know what? There's a service actually that provides, phone calls to check on moms, not just like when they get out the hospital and you get that one phone call. Like it runs deeper than that, so just anything that you stumble upon, or maybe you just create a forum for like your community. I always like to say this, especially when I started my Just a Conversation and Brunch series. And I always say this, everyone wants to be heard. So let people be heard. Let's give them a platform. You can just create a Facebook group that's just for, I don't know, you could create a topic that you feel, maybe something that you fell short or something you wish you had, and just start a forum and let it just grow. And then we can really start to see, what do our communities need? And a lot of it is resources and it's education, it's teaching people, where I have a lot of people like in the community to say like, oh, like we're broke. But like, we're not broke. Like we are the top spenders. We just need to manage our money better, and then you have people who, what was something that I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about, that's what it was. It was Veterans Day, and I'm a veteran. I was in the Army. And I said, I thought schools was closed. I was like, because we left from Arizona and we went to New York. Then we came to Virginia to go back to Arizona. So I was telling the kids that there was no school on Veterans Day. I don't even know why I was saying that. I thought it, it wasn't in Virginia. It wasn't in Arizona. And then I was on the phone with someone, and he was just like, I don't know why I was thinking that it wasn't any school on Veterans Day, because he said he remembers being in school always at the daggone assemblies. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, they actually honor and stuff. And I was like, yeah, they should just be no school, match with the federal and stuff. And I was like, that's cool that we honor, the veterans with an assembly. I was like, but to be honest, like if you want to like honor them, it should never be a homeless veteran. Like that's just my belief and how I feel. Like it should never be a veteran, who went out there to protect and serve and did their time, whatever you want to call it, and that they're homeless. I was like, that's crazy. And I was like, honestly, nobody should be homeless, but I can understand how people become homeless. When you just like lose everything and you just like, shit, I don't know what to do. And I was like, the thing is like when people are like homeless, some people, not all of them, they just don't know what to do. They don't have anybody around them to say, look, yo, you standing out here on the corner, you done came up with $100. Why don't you go to the dollar store, get you some stuff so you can shower with and shave if you're a male? Or, okay, wow, you can go stay here, for X amount of dollars, stay here. Or matter of fact, you still sleeping outside, but go get all fresh and stuff so you can go to an interview. But why don't you take another $20 and go get you a P.O. box? That's not really a P.O. box, because you can go to the UPS stores and you can get you a P.O. box that gives you a physical address. So now you got an address to use so you can go apply for some services or apply for a job or whatever like the case is, right? So it's like if you struggled your whole life and you're homeless and you're not around people who can like help uplift you or help change your perspective, it's like, what do you do? And some people really, that's all that they know. Going back to the conversation I had with someone on the phone, and she said she struggled her whole life. So what? What's one more thing? That's the environment that she's around. So what is it that we can do? We can offer, just a free class, right? Just to share the knowledge that we don't have to be these experts with these, degrees and all this stuff. But, I always say the greatest teacher, is experience, is going through something. So maybe you went through a situation yourself and you bounced back, from it. Well, what did you do? Share that knowledge to help build, someone else, or to help give them another perspective, or to give them hope, right? Just to give them hope. So really, like, what are you being known for? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want, if you have children, what do you want your children to continue? Are you a pillar in your community? What are you doing for your community? And the thing is, some people be like, I don't owe them nothing. It's not really about owing people anything. It's just if you stop and think about it, you reflect on your whole life. Look at all the things that you went through, all the experience. What did you go through it for? We came here to evolve and grow, right? So why not share that information and that wisdom and that stuff that you've gone through and you've overcome to help other people? So for me, personally, everything that I teach is through experience. So if I'm saying X, Y, and Z, it's because I've been through it or I'm going through it right now. So it's always coming from like this experience. And then like I'll bump into someone or I'm with a client, I'm having a session and we're talking, and then something comes up and then I'm able to say, oh, da 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 da. Then when I sit back and reflect after the session, I'm like, yo, that's why I went through that 10 years ago. I went through that 10 years ago for this moment right now. Because there's something about you teaching and you sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your experiences with someone. And they're like, wow, I never thought about it like that. All this time, I've never thought about it like that. And then to see people shift their energy, make a change, and their life is better. It's like, wow, like that is like the best feeling in the world, to know that the experiences that you went through just now help somebody. It helped them to be able to push forward. It helped them to be able to change their narrative, change the story that's in their head, to help start changing these generational curses, to say like, you don't have to do it like that. You do know that you can do things differently. Like you do know that it's okay to color outside the lines, right? You do know that it's okay to step outside that box that they put you in, right? You do know that it's okay to throw that box away. You do know that it's okay to actually believe that there is no goddamn box. So, while I was going up there to celebrate, my best friend, and just hit me as so much deeper. Like she was such an amazing person. And you got like New York, like NY, baby, that they're recognizing November 8th as Glow Day. I'm like, yes, let's go. But then we take it further. We have Glow Care Inc. Let's help bridge that gap. Let's bring the resources and the awareness, with postpartum. Let's check on our mothers, check on the kids, Like, let's be there, you know? So again, ask yourself, what legacy am I leaving right now based off of my current reality? And what legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to be a pillar in your community? Do you want to be someone that can help, you know, change a perspective and open up people's thoughts, shift the energy, shift the mindset? Because think about it, every last one of us has a story. Every last one of us has a story. And are you ready to share yours? Because there's no need to be ashamed. And somebody was like, I don't want to tell anybody like my story because like I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what are you embarrassed for? It was an experience. Well, you know, I feel bad for what it is that I did. And I think that it was so wrong. I said, look, there's no right or wrong. There's only experiences. What did you learn from that experience? What do you still need to learn from that experience? How are you doing things differently? And how can you share that experience of what you went through and how you overcame it and share it with the next person so that way it can help them move forward? Look, we all came here to evolve and grow, and we can do it together. You went through your experience. I went through my experience. Like, what's up? Let me share my story. Let me let you know how I got here. Let me let you know how my whole life, you know, I didn't struggle my whole life, but I've always been in survival mode. You know, I had my first child at 16, so I was a kid, but just grew up real fast, right? And there was a lot of times in my life that it was hard, but I made it hard because I didn't want to ask anybody for anything. And why didn't I want to ask anybody for anything? I'm like, yo, you ain't gonna tell me no, or you're not gonna throw that up in my face. But it was really the fear of rejection. I didn't want to be rejected. So guess what? I made my life harder because I didn't want to ask anybody for anything. It's one of my biggest life lessons is being open to receive. And then I got forced to, and I'm 39, and I want to say this past, not a year, I don't even know. Time's such an illusion. Probably the past 6 months to a year of my life, I was forced to be open to receive. And I can tell you right now, it was the most uncomfortable shit ever. But that's because I wasn't open to receive because I was a fear of rejection. And the thing is that, you know, when you have people around you that are like, yo, I don't like to ask anybody for anything. I don't like to ask anybody for anything. Like, that's even, you're conditioned even more. So I wasn't around people that were sharing their experience, sharing their stories of, you know, how they prayed to God, you know, universe, whatever you're calling and relating it, you know, for this help. And then boom, someone came with an opportunity and helped them, and they were open to receiving and how their life changed. So I wasn't around that. I didn't have people sharing their experience and sharing their stories. I just got people around like, yeah, I ain't asking nobody for shit. Straight up. I'm like, you bet. Me too. I ain't asking nobody for nothing. You know, when my dad was in my life for like those 2 years, he was like, my daughter ain't got to ask nobody for shit. I was like, you right. I ain't asking for nobody for nothing. So when you were like, oh, are you good? Do you need anything? No, I'm good. Knowing damn well I wasn't good, but I damn well wasn't going to give you the opportunity to reject me. But you see, for me, that went deeper. It was a deeper root of why I had this fear of rejection. So again, it's all about sharing our experiences and our stories. So now I talk about that to people. I tell people how I, Tisha, co-create my reality. And there were times where I made my life harder because I wasn't open to receive. So when I'm sharing that with my clients or sharing that with like whoever, it's opening their mind up that it's not about that being like rejected, because you praying all the time for God to help you, but you're not open to receive. Now, Spirit uses other people to relay messages, to present opportunities. But if you're not open to receive, then you mad and you're like, oh yeah, God don't answer my prayers. I'm like, what? You know? So it just goes back to us sharing our experiences, sharing our stories, sharing our knowledge, sharing our wisdom, and starting with our family, then into like our community, and really putting that information, you know, out there and asking questions, holding forums. What do you guys need? That's it. What do you guys need? Area would you like more information in? And just kind of like let us all like kind of like do this thing and just like, what's the legacy, y'all? What's the legacy that we're leaving? So I know I talked about a whole bunch of different things, you know. Oh, do we want to be pillars of our community? Like how we want to help and build our community or other people's communities too. I'm in Arizona now, so I got to get out in the mix and kind of see what's going on out there, you know, too. But so it doesn't have to be just your, you know, community. It could be other communities as well, or an online community where you got people all over the world. And let us all just come together and just share. share our knowledge, share our wisdom, share our expertise. Like, let's just do that. And then think about, what do you want to be known for? And what type of legacy do you want to leave behind? I thank you guys once again for spending your time, just to be tuning in and to listen to me, all that good stuff. Let's just continue to vibe. Until next time. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to #certified. If anything resonated with you, I would love to continue the conversation. You can follow me on Instagram @itistisha. And if you want to be a part of the #certified tribe, you can join my Facebook group by going to the search tab and putting in #certified. My website is conversationswithtisha.com. As always, have a great one on purpose. Love you.